Hey, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me. Today, I am just going to be doing some stream of consciousness, talking about my experience in London. And I would say the UK. I'm just used to saying the UK, but I realized that I haven't been to all of the places in the UK. So I've been mainly in London. Definitely, I'm in England. And actually, I just transitioned from being in a kind of central place of London, not central London, but just kind of like in the city. And now we're kind of exploring the countryside. So just going to give some thoughts about what is going on so far, like how we're getting along, what I like, what I don't like. And yeah, and if there's somebody who's watching this and you've either visited London a lot, or you have lived here, or you are living here, you have some tips and things like that, please comment below and give me all your ideas. Let me know things that I should definitely do. Maybe if I need to adjust some expectations, I'm okay with that too. So yeah, hopefully I'll cover everything, because I have so many thoughts when I'm walking around and going places. I'm like, oh, this and that and this and that. So hopefully you will find this interesting. But before we get started, you know the drill. We need to hear a message from one of our channel sponsors. Are you tired of dealing with mail? Whether you're traveling the world or just want to simplify your life, Traveling Mailbox has you covered. It's the game changer you didn't know you needed. With Traveling Mailbox, managing your mail becomes effortless and secure. Instead of spending hours opening, scanning, or shredding mail yourself, Traveling Mailbox does it all for you. Every piece is scanned, giving you instant notifications so that you can read, save, or discard it with just a click. After switching to Traveling Mailbox, I couldn't be happier. My wake-up call came after missing a critical life insurance notice while traveling, causing my policy to be canceled. To make matters worse, I almost racked up more IRS debt and fees after missing their notifications too. Now with Traveling Mailbox, I have peace of mind. I no longer waste time driving to a P.O. box or dealing with tedious manual mail processes. Need a package forwarded anywhere? Consider it done. Have checks that need depositing? Traveling Mailbox securely mails them straight to your bank of choice. It's the ultimate time saver for personal and business use. Plus, it costs less than a traditional P.O. box, which can run over $200 a year in many cities. And that's without all the services that Traveling Mailbox offers you. USPS informed delivery, it doesn't come close. Traveling Mailbox has made managing my mail smarter, safer, and more affordable. With discounts like 2 months free for life when you pay annually, it's never been a better time to make the switch. Simplify your life and protect your peace of mind. Traveling Mailbox has you covered. To simplify your life, you can start your Traveling Mailbox subscription today. Simply scan the QR code that you see on your screen, or you can click the affiliate link below. You can also visit my website, www.principlesofIncrease.com/traveling mailbox. All right, thank you so much for sitting through that. And I just want to remind you, I feel like I don't do this as much, but I have tons of resources and things that you can take advantage of. If you're watching this at home on your TV or on your phone, get to that description box. Scan some of those QR codes that I put up on the screen and help a sister out. I've got a great resources page on my website. You can subscribe to my newsletter, and I have tons of free information and literature that you can read to help you get out of debt, invest in real estate with little to no money, create a budget to get debt free, start your digital nomad journey. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So make sure you check out my website, principlesofincrease.com/resources and partners, I believe. But if you go to the page, it's very easy to navigate to the resources page. So without further ado, I just want to let you know I appreciate your viewership and I appreciate your support in any way that you can, including liking, subscribing, and clicking some of those links. So the first thing that I noticed when I got here, pretty much off the plane, it seems like there are lots and lots of rules. And as someone who came from Chicago, then to Florida, then to Puerto Rico, Chicago is it's a big city. It's a pretty bureaucratic place. So there are rules, but there's some wiggle room. Florida, definitely like the wild, wild west, although it's south. Puerto Rico, yes, there's bureaucracy, but there's some ways to get around it. But when I got off the plane and just was hearing, all of these voices about where to go, what to do, don't do this, don't stop here. I was already kind of like, is this going to work for me? Because you know how we are in America, freedom, America, and I'm very patriotic. I am glad to be an American. And so, yeah, I take my freedom and my liberty very seriously. And I just noticed here there are lots of rules. So, for example, one thing that is very noticeable here, and this may just be like a whole European thing because I spent some time in Florence a few days after we arrived. Now, that'll be another video. I'm gonna recap my Florence trip, but people are very compliant, very, especially when it comes to things like the environment. Sustainable everything, sustainable energy, sustainable shower, sustainable. And there's a lot of things that people recommend that you don't do because in the name of like saving the environment. Another thing that I noticed is that electric vehicles are really big here. Like almost every Uber I've gotten into, they are an electric vehicle. And unless I'm just having bad experiences or it's just unique to me, or maybe I'm getting used to how these vehicles drive, I feel like a few times I've gotten car sick, and it could just be the driver, or maybe I'm just not used to being in electric vehicles. But they seem like maybe they just ride so smooth, you tap the gas and it just takes off. Who knows what it is, but people are really into electric vehicles, scooters, all the things. And again, I think that's just a testament to what the country and even the local governments are doing in terms of like everything being sustainable and green and environmentally friendly from their perspective. That's really prevalent, really prominent here. And I'm not going to get political and talk about my views on that, but it's just something that I noticed, something to kind of like adjust to. People are really into that stuff. And so other things about like where you can park, how you can park, the confusion of like, can you see it? Do you have to go online? So it just seems like there's a lot of stuff that can trip you up. And again, as somebody who came from a big city in Chicago, definitely there's lots of that. But it seems like maybe, and again, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, maybe there's just like a little bit more here. Regulation. I just heard that to watch some certain channels on TV, you have to present an ID. The immigration laws are really tight. So I don't want to beat that dead horse, but it just seems like there's lots of rules, laws, some nonsensical, some I get it, and some just really stringent. And why? Okay, so here's the next thing I noticed, and I'm almost thinking about saving it for last because it's one of my favorite things here so far, but I'm so surprised, you all, by the quality of the food in general. Like food here just tastes different. You can tell like there's not the same chemicals. Maybe the meat is treated kinder. Everything just tastes so fresh and amazing. I don't know where, I need to look this up. Where does the UK import like its fruits and vegetables? Everything really does taste amazing. And the prices are maybe on par, a little bit higher than what you find in the US. But the one thing I didn't expect, you all, the bakeries and the baked goods are almost on par with what you would find in some place like France. Now, before you come for me, dragging me in the comments, let me just say I have a pretty narrow experience. I only went to Paris for like 5 days, but the food there was amazing. The bakeries, top notch, and maybe they're better all different places in France. But from my experience, going from France to the UK, London has done something. And my guess is that from the Normandy invasion, was that like 1066? Somebody correct me if my history and my dates are wrong, but I understand there's a huge influence of French culture that came into England and got into the food, got into the language, and some of the way that the political protocols and things. French influence is all over English culture, and my guess is that they brought in some of their techniques and their proclivity for like really good baked goods. So I'm almost thinking about doing this challenge where I go to some of the top bakeries in London because you all, for some reason, you guys love my shorts of me just eating stuff like donuts, muffins, croissants, you name it. And so just for click's sake and for the algorithm, I may take this challenge on because I like baked goods. I like eating tasty, yummy French pastries. And here in the UK, there is tons of that. Okay, the next thing that I notice is that, again, this might be like a total Europe thing. And again, you guys chime in the comments if I'm saying something that you're like, oh, well, that makes sense or whatever. Over here in the summertime, the sun sets really, really late. Last year, we did our trip to like Madrid and Paris and everything. And I remember being in Madrid and it's like 10 o'clock at night and the sun is still out. And that even happens here in England. It can be 8, 9 o'clock and the sun is out bright and shining. And that's new to me. In Chicago, you can inch into some dusky, sunsets around 8:30, but it's very quick-lived. It doesn't, it's really short. In Puerto Rico, it gets dark really soon there too, really early. But here in the summer, oh my goodness, it's like the daytime lasts all day. So the other thing that I notice here, and some of this stuff is going to be obvious, you all, like if you have read anything or visited this side of the pond, you're going to be like, well, yeah, duh. But I want to point it out because it's just my brain is thinking about these things and noticing them. The other thing that I like is just how efficient the public transportation is. Like I have been in a phase of life where I'm just like, I don't want any more stuff to manage. So I was so happy to put my car to the side, rent out some of the properties that I had, and just kind of come here a little bit carefree. And being on public transportation, yes, sometimes it's a little tiring, but again, if you're somebody like me, I like to eat. It all works out. You get to walk a lot and then you get to eat a lot. So, but let's see how I look in a year just to make sure. I'm not recommending that anybody does that, but so far it's working for me. I like the public transportation system. It does get really crowded, but it's so efficient. You can look on your phone, get to places quick, fast, in a hurry. And I just want to say I appreciate that. I'm even out in the countryside for this leg of the trip, and I can say that we've gotten on buses and things run pretty efficiently out here as well. Okay, so the other thing, this is really big, and I feel like I got a taste of this when we visited last year, but this is a very, very cashless society already. So you thought that if you're listening to me from the States and you think like you're using your debit card all the time, I got out cash when I first got here, and it was almost like there was almost no need for it because I went to a lot of places and they don't even accept cash. Everything is like contactless payment. You're using your Apple Pay, your phone, your card with the chip. So that is huge here, especially like when you go into like the supermarket, a lot of self-checkout. In fact, in a lot of places that I've been, there's more self-checkout and just a few registers that are manned by people and that even accept cash. So that was really surprising for me. And I guess it's kind of convenient. I know Dave Ramsey, my guy, wants you to use cash, but here it's just, you're really using your card. There's almost no reason to bring over a lot of currency, a lot of dollars. You can just do everything on your card. So make sure that you get a card that doesn't charge any foreign transaction fees, and bank accounts if possible. I'm going to put a link below to Ally. They're great. They have savings. I've been using some of their banking products for years, and no foreign transaction fees, Chase cards. I'll put all that stuff in the description. And speaking of which, I want you to click the link below. I have a digital nomad kit. So that's everything that I just brainstormed about, like what I wish I would have known. And that guide is just like a quick brainstorm and a checklist of everything that I wish I would have known before I started like traveling frequently. And again, some of it is obvious and no-brainer, but I think that it's helpful. If I had that, maybe I would have been like, oh, okay. So it talks about how to get your eSIMs, your adapters, different banks and cards, and just things that you should have when you're traveling abroad or traveling often. Oh, and another thing that I've noticed and I like is this idea of these markets. And I feel like we do have them in the US, but they just take a different shape. So we have our Saturday farmers markets where people come out with their wares and their strawberries and things like that. And then you may have a little bit of activity when it comes to like ready-made food, food trucks, food booths or kiosks, right? So I feel like it's more farmer than less ready-made food. But here they have markets that are just really, it's really just like a big food court, which I like. So there's like the Greenwich Market, the Camden, the Borough Market. There's a few others, and it's not just a London thing. I think this happens pretty much all over Europe, and then they have Christmas markets. So I am super excited about checking out the whole market scene. We do have a video coming up where we visited Camden, and we have another, I think there's a video when we came last year where we kind of did a little preview of Greenwich. All of these are just great. And that brings me to the next point, which I really like and appreciate here. I know people talk about like the native English food that is so awful, beans on toast, bangers and mash, fish and chips, although fish and chips is really good. Whatever, these foods that are like really, the peas or whatever, all these dishes that nobody really, maybe they don't like as much. However, the one thing that redeems the London, UK food scene is the variety and the diversity, because this is like a world-class, top-notch city. People come here from everywhere. So as a result, you are going to have access to so many different types of cuisines. I can't even name all. I mean, and it gets really granular too. So it's not just like Asian food, but you can find Cantonese and then Malaysian and then Vietnamese and then island food, right? Jamaican food, Haitian, African food. You're going to find some Senegalese, some Nigerian. So the the variety is just so amazing. And I'm here as a foodie, so I'm super excited about really digging deep, checking out the food scene. And again, you guys seem to like my videos where I am eating, so I'm here for it. If that's what you guys want to see me doing, eating, living my best life, getting 20,000 steps in a day, I am going to do that. And let's see what else. And in terms of the people, I think it's like a mixed bag. I don't really have any, I don't have a lot of thoughts on that yet. Maybe I'll do a separate video because I am encountering different peoples from the diaspora. So you have Caribbean, African. And so that's always an interesting thing for me because, of course, as a Black person, I'm just like, wow, how do other Black people live in other places in the world? So meeting like British Black people, and you don't know, I mean, some of the people are like so exotic, from their mom is this, their dad is that, they were raised here. I think that's just so fun and amazing. Again, don't have a lot of thoughts around that and, how the people are, how I'm getting treated yet. So far, people have been nice, people have been mean, so we'll see. And that's despite race, origin, nationality. And before I talk about the last few things, let's take a moment to hear a message from one of the channel sponsors. If you're a digital nomad or like me, spend lots of time traveling, listen up. What I'm about to tell you will change your life. Introducing Genki, the ultimate health insurance for world explorers just like you. Imagine roaming the globe without a care, knowing you're covered for any medical emergency. From scooter mishaps to tropical illnesses, Genki's got your back. With instant sign-up and quick claims, you can focus on your adventures, not paperwork. Don't let health worries hold you back. Choose Genki and travel with confidence. To get your free quote, just screenshot the QR code that you see here, or check out the link in the description below. So another thing that I noticed, going back to the conversation on like ethnicity and nationality and all that, when you meet somebody here and they ask you like, where are you from? Sometimes it's not enough just to say American, because they're like, oh, okay, but where are your parents from? And I'm like, they're American too. And they're like, okay, let's see some pictures. How do your parents look? And then you show pictures and they're like, well, where are their parents from? And of course, without going into all the history, you all know how some of us got to the States. I just don't have anything else to say to people. And you might think like, well, it's the way that you look and you look like. I think this happens to any Black American who comes over, because when you're here, everyone may be they may be Asian, they may be Indian, they may be Black, but everyone can potentially have a really interesting story. So you may meet someone who's Korean, but they were raised in Cote d'Ivoire or Gambia or something. Or you might meet somebody who is, you know, by race or ethnicity, they're Arab, but they were raised in Japan. So it's like all these like exotic situations, and you come here like, I'm an American, I'm just American. And that's all I can say to people. Like, I am an American, obviously of some type of African descent, but I can't tell you what country or how far back it goes. So I just thought that's interesting how people identify here, like race, ethnicity, nationality. They really want to get to the root of what's going on with you. And yeah, I just find it interesting and it's different. And I don't really have good answers to give right now. Maybe that'll change, but that's where I'm at right now. I'm just like, hey, from America, I'm American of African descent. That's it. So I think those are all the musings that I have for now. I was trying to sit here and think of like anything else I could think of. But so far, I will say that our experience has been nice because there's a lot of new things. We have met, again, like I said, really nice people, some not so nice people, but I don't think so far that it has negatively impacted my experience. Overall, I'm glad to be here. Hope I can stay. So follow on that journey to see what'll happen next, because again, I neglected to properly research all the immigration implications, but we'll see what happens. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.